The Millsaps Training Facility, or MTF, is the one. It's the motocross facility that most others are compared to, and it's also the place that contributed the most to making Cairo, Georgia, the winningest town in the history of the Loretta Lynn's Amateur National Championship. But what's MTF like? What do they teach, and what do they preach? It's time for part 3 of the Untold Story of Cairo, Georgia.
Hi, I'm Colleen Millsaps, and I'm the owner of Millsaps Training Facility. Cairo picked us. You know, we came up here and rode, and I actually was looking at a piece of property on the Florida side, and a gentleman approached me and heard that I was looking for property to build and brought me into Cairo. And we did practice at a track in Cairo. When Davey was on his 60 one summer and rode with Ricky Carmichael, when you're there for 6 weeks, you kind of get the feel for the people in the area, and I liked it. And then when the guy brought the 100 acres to our attention, it was an easy sell because I was already in. Bought the property in 1998. Mark Burnett built a track on our 100 acres, and we came up here in an RV, and it was with the intent to build something up here, to afterwards. And then the kids, it just evolved from there. We ended up here, and then I was separated, and it ended up much different than my plans were. Never what I have now. So it's better. Life is better when you almost don't plan it, because it never works out the way you planned it anyway.
Yeah. I'm Brian Johnson. I'm the track trainer here at MTF. I've been here since it started, riding, but I've been training here since '06 with the kids. To make a long story short, me and Davey became best friends when we were just little guys.
I had kids coming to live with me at my house from '99 to 2004.
He asked me to move up here with him, and I moved up here, trained with him. We'd have people coming in and out, whether it was Davalos or Stroop or Nico Izzy or, just a bunch of different guys coming and training with us. And then the idea came about to start MTF.
And then we decided to make it official. And I had a partner at that time, and he is the one that started GPF. I was actually training his kid at my place, and he decided he liked the area, and it was a good place to come out of the Michigan winters. And that's when he opened GPF over there. So he kind of had a master plan, I think, in mind when he wanted to move MTF here. I think ultimately he wanted to combine it one day, and then he didn't stick around.
They started that. I was still riding at the time, and I got involved a little bit with doing camps and working with the kids, and whether I was injured or just had some time off. And then I got more involved, and then '06, '07, I was pretty much full-time training. Even when I was still racing in '07 and '08, I was working on track with the kids full-time, and then I broke my back in '08 and decided to stop racing and take a bigger role in this.
I love to teach. Before I did motocross, when my daughter was born, I taught volleyball and softball to parochial school in Orlando. If you're a natural coach, you have a tendency to pay attention to what the good guys are doing, what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong. Why is that guy better? Why is that guy not crashing when he jumps? What's he doing? What's his position? When you're going through whoops, why is one guy's bike doing this and one guy's bike going straight? Right. So I learn much more than I teach, always have. So every year you think you've got it figured out, you never have it figured out. And some kid will come along and I'll be like, God, I never thought about that. That's pretty cool. I'm going to use that.
Here it is kind of a big family, as far as everybody does try to help each other out in any way you can. And motocross is like that anyway, Yeah. Whether, okay, your bike's down here, ride mine, if they have an extra one. And that's one of the great things about this sport is everybody's always willing to help you out. And sometimes even two people that you would think wouldn't help each other out, whether they're big-time competitors, will allow that person to use something of theirs to try to get them to a place that they need to be. Right.
The bottom line is every kid here, with the exception, once in a while we'll get a rotten apple, but every kid here wants this place to be home. They want it. They don't want to worry about drugs. They don't want to worry about alcohol. They don't want to worry about people stealing. They don't want to worry about people getting beat up or the bully, the lunchroom bully. They don't want that. They want it to be comfortable and safe.
You help them out any way you can, you know, if they come to you for a little bit of guidance as far as if they need something, and you just ask a lot of questions, and when they do need something, you try to help them in any way you can.
12 is an awesome age to start because they're still so hungry and don't have too many bad habits, and you can still gain so much ground at 12 years old because they haven't hit that 14-year-old growth spurt. So they're usually on 80s, you know, so you can get them before they get in that big bike and try to kind of mold that technique that's going to keep them safe.
If you're not starting to train at a younger age, you're so far behind. The kids are so good now at 12, 13 years old, 14 years old, that if you're just starting to get into training, then you're going to be behind.
Almost everybody stays 2 years, almost. And then I've had guys 4 and then longer. We have the capability to house and to train up to 50, but we never have really more than, you know, 35 on site, and up to 40, it would be, you know, a high number. We have injuries, you have people visas, they're going home, you know, they have to immigration, family things, just time off, they come and they go.
You know, if you can get that edge on a 65 or an 85 and start to get on the radar, then by the time you get on big bikes, and the bikes are so good now, if you can get some of that help from some of those manufacturers, it's setting yourself up for success, because the longer you wait and the longer that doesn't happen, the harder it is for it to happen.
I'll take a kid with heart over talent any day. That's a kid that I will work with and I'll enjoy working with. You got a kid with talent that doesn't have any heart, it's the hardest thing in the world to work with. To make yourself go out there and try to motivate them, it's just the hardest thing in the world. And not enjoyable at all. From a coaching standpoint, it's frustrating because you know you're not going to get to them. And it's almost like, you don't want to say you're wasting your time, because if something catches, if he grabs onto one thing, then maybe in 10 years it'll be worth it. But I'll never know it because they're gone. But the one that crashes his brains out, if he's in 15th place and he's a C rider, that guy excites me. That's the guy that brings me to work every morning. The one with the fire in the belly.
Right. Success is in so many different levels, you know. Just because a championship might be successful to somebody else, a top 10 might be, you know, this kid gets a top 10 and he's as happy as can be, and oh man, how come nobody's happy for me, you know? So you know, that's why when they come in that year, we kind of get their goals. Are they realistic? Are they unrealistic? And usually at first they're unrealistic, and you know, we gotta kind of tell them that, hey.
When they're 40 years old and they're sitting around a campfire, I want to be part of that conversation. I want to be what they attribute to who they are. I want to be part of that. You know, I want them to talk about their time here and that grumpy old lady or that mean woman, you know, and of course you're always going to get vilified more than you really were. As the older you get, the tougher you get, you know, and they're going to make me out to be much worse than I am. But that's okay too. As long as, you know, you have some influence on who they become. You know, good men first, then good motocrossers. That's important to me.
We encourage people to go to school and do that, get an education. Now we have a school here, so we have a teacher here, so we push for that, you know, and we bring some of the younger kids, because you put this on a 10-year-old or an 11-year-old, it's not an easy place, you know. It's you know, everything is here, the gym is here, the track is here, but we work hard, and for an 11-year-old, that can be a little overwhelming. So at first we were like, you know, for a while, no, we don't want them, but you know, you have to now. They're in the gym, they're on the track, they're motoing, they're, you know, working just as hard as Jordan Smith, you know, at times.
Lil Brian says I've gotten a lot softer than I used to be. Maybe I have, you know, but I have to balance all of this. You have a beginner kid, you can't have that same attitude as you have with a Jordan Smith. I mean, I like a worker. I don't like lazy. Can't stand lazy. That's really hard for me to stomach, and I have to stomach it a lot more than I like to, because there are kids that are lazy.
If you're out there giving it 80% when this guy's giving it 100% every time he's there, yeah, he's got a way better chance, you know. If every time you get a little arm pump, or you're a little fatigued, or you're a little tired, you start rolling around and that guy keeps pushing through, he's going to get a lot better than you. You know, he's going to if he's behind you, he's probably going to catch you. He's going to pass you, and he's going to keep moving forward. Always seems to go back to the top people are hard workers. You know, you got to work hard, and that's the main thing. If you work hard and you give it everything you've got, then most of the time you're going to get close to where you want to be.
I've had so many kids say, I want you to yell at me. I can't tell you how many kids have said that. They want me to yell at them. I'm like, I don't need to yell at you. You work hard. Why would I yell at you? I want you to yell at me. For some reason, they think that's what's going to make them better, you know. They look at Davey, and I had to yell at Davey a lot, you know. I did yell at him a lot. Still yell at him a lot.
You look at even when Joey was coming up from, he got here on a 60, or Barsha, or, you know, any of those guys, or Jordan Smith. You know, any of those guys that have pretty much made it as far as being a professional. Dakota Alex, Vince Freeze, A-Rod, you know, they all have made it in different levels, but, you know, with some, when we were doing 30s, they were finishing.
With the future, I see little Brian, but he'll be able to take this over one day. I never want to leave the sport. I think that it's part of you. If you've ever been in it serious, you know, you don't choose it, it chooses you, kind of.
So how did Cairo, Georgia become the fastest town in motocross? Well, it started the way all things in motocross do, with families. In this case, the Carmichaels, the Millsaps, and the Woods. And success came the way it always does too, with good old-fashioned hard work. The only difference is that this family has gotten bigger, the stakes have gotten higher, and the work more sophisticated. But deep down inside, the fastest town in motocross is what motocross is in every other town. It's a family affair.